Hey musicians, I just wanted to take this video and do something I haven't done before, which would be making a review video on this amp I bought. I bought it last summer. I've had it for a while. I've had a little while to experiment around with it. It is a great amp. It's the Vypyr. This is the 30 watt version. For starters, it makes an excellent drink holder or cigarette holder or anything that you want to put on the top of here. Picks anything, but I mean it's just, besides that, it is seriously such an amazing amp. I've moved up from total crap to almost complete crap to different size practice amps and everything, and this thing has just got it all. It's all digital, it has its own processor. I'll explain all that in a minute, but it's just an amazing amplifier. Alright, for starters, I want to show you this because this is kind of just a cool thing I noticed one day after I bought it. But we'll unplug this input cord here. It won't do it unless it's unplugged. But you turn it on here, just say you're at a show and you don't really want it plugged in, but you want your stuff turned on. Look, it does its own little light show. And that'll just keep going until you plug something into it. So, I mean, that's kind of a cool little thing. Like, if I'm at a show, I've had a couple gigs where I'll just purposely leave this unplugged and let my amp just sit there, and people will just sit there and watch it, and they'll be like, that is so neat. You'll be like, yeah, I know. And then you strike up a conversation about the amp and how awesome it is, and I'm telling you, it is great. Another thing I want to talk about. I've noticed on a lot of other amps, you go to plug something into it, or you go to run the line out of it into a PA system or into a recording machine or something, and you get a totally different sound. It sounds completely crappy, and you're like, well, it loses the complete effect of the amp, and you can't run a line out, you have to mic it. Now, I'm not saying that I don't mic this amp, because I do mic it sometimes, but if you want to run a line out of it, you got to make sure you realize what kind of hole it is, because it's a little one. It's only the size of like a headphone jack. It's not the size of a full input jack like this over here. But if you run a line out of this, it will sound exact. It sounds just as crisp and just as clean as it does coming out this speaker into the PA or into a recording machine or anything, which makes this amp all the better for recording and if you're running it through something. Because this is only 30 watts, if you want to run it out of something like more powerful, or you're just trying to get better into mixing, or you want to mix it or have someone be able to mix it from backstage, it's great to run a line out of, more so than other amps. But I mean, it's got that classic Peavey tone. Here, I'll plug it in for you and try it. Okay, this guitar right here, nothing that you hear is the sound of this guitar besides like it being a guitar, because this is no special model guitar. It's a little Aleka Chinese brand that I got at a flea market for $90. So I mean, this is straight up amplifier right here, and this is just a little tone that I saved as one of my presets, and I'll talk about the presets in a minute. But this is cranked at 0 right now. This is 1. So as you can hear, it has some balls. This is in my room, so it's not going to be like playing at a band practice. I'll be honest, at band practice, I crank it to about a 4.5 to 5, and it shows probably like a 7 or 8, but that's if we're playing like Metallica and I need to be cranked for a solo or something. And that's playing like fairly big shows with JBL speakers or PA speakers and everything. I mean, I don't even mic this half the time, and I can still play some pretty big shows with it. I mean, if you're going to play for like hundreds of people, it's different. But I played my school talent show with this because the acoustics on stage were different, and I didn't mic it or anything. It sounded fantastic. But I'll talk about the presets real quick. Alright, now as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do with this amp. From stomp boxes to the amp, or the different amps you can pick, or the effects. And then you can adjust all those settings on here later. But you can basically pick, like what you can see right here where I picked. I didn't want any stomp box effects on this setting I have, so I hit bypass here. You can't really see, but that says bypass. Then for the amp, I hit this K-Stein, because that's the amp sound I liked for it. I bypassed the effects because I didn't want any crazy effects for this tone. I just wanted it to be kind of a crunchy, classic Metallica sounding tone. And then I adjusted all my settings here like you would on a normal amp. It's all digital though, so you can switch from setting to setting. These are all dials that change completely digitally, so you're not actually physically moving the dial. You're leaving that at whatever spot and it can switch at a moment's notice. But then I hold this in just like a radio here on number 1. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to mess up my settings, but you press and hold this 1 and that'll click and save just like a radio station preset, and then I can go back to that preset at any time I want to. I don't know why this is going all blurry, but I can go back to that preset at any time I want to. And you might say, well, how many presets do you get? 4? And you get more than 4 presets. You can go to this ABC right here, so you get 12, because you can have 4 on A, 4 on B, 4 on C. And if you want to switch to that at the click of a button, you can get the pedal. I don't have the pedal, I wish I did. I'm going to buy it this summer. But the pedal, you can switch to it with that really quick. And I mean, so I have all kinds of different settings saved here. I have one like Metallica tone, then I have a chorus effect for solos over here, and I have like a clean effect, and you can really play around with them. I'll show you some of the different tones. Okay, right here is that effect I already showed you, like that crunchy tone. And then you can go into your solos right here and it sounds great. That, like, it sounds real classic, but if you want to throw a little extra pizzazz into it, you put this chorus effect on that I monkeyed around with a little bit the other day, and that turns it into... You're probably better at guitar than I am, but that's just what I was playing right there. But anyway, there's that, and then if I want to switch to bank B, I can go to a completely clean tone. Listen to this. And that's not just some clean tone like you get on any other amp. You can completely customize that, make it sound like as crisp if you want. If you want to throw a little tremolo in there, just throw something to really distinguish it, you can. That's what I tried to do on this. Is I tried to make it sound really, really neat and really clean. It sounds out of tune, but yeah, it's just a cool effect I was playing around with. And then, like there's that one. I mean, I'm not proud of this one. Like, I really haven't experimented around nearly as much as I should, but I kind of just stick to those first couple for our set lists. But I mean, that doesn't say that you have to. And I'll show you some different effects that you can get on here. Alright, one effect I thought was kind of cool was this this effect. Let's go to here. And this is called the octaver, and I don't know how many of you have heard of octavers, but listen to this. It's pretty cool. It just sounds pretty cool to me. So that's the octaver, and then you can go to all kinds of crazy stuff like reverse. I can't really think of any good reason to use reverse, but here's what reverse does. Like, watch my fingers. Reverses everything you play for like the last couple of seconds. But I mean, I'll put that back on bypass. Those are just some of the effects you can use. And then this is called Mog. This is in the stomp boxes. Sounds kind of like that octaver, but a little bit different. Analog flange. That's just like a flanger effect. auto wah. I'm not a big fan of the auto wah, but it's pretty cool. I just don't like having wah at somebody else's control, but I mean, that's just me. And there's like a couple different effects on here that you probably won't use, like tube scream. It sounds cool for some stuff, but it's a major feedback machine, and I'm just not a big fan of that. And like a lot of effects on here you won't use, a lot of amps on here you won't use just because they don't sound that good, but it's just a lot of different options, so depending on what style you're into, I guarantee there's going to be something on this amp that you can use to play your type of style. Another thing I really thought was cool about it is it came with the instruction manual on a CD where I bought it. I don't know if it does for everybody, but where I bought it, it came owner's manual on computer CD-ROM, so, or DVD-ROM. Wow, I haven't even looked at it, but better believe I'm going to now, because that's pretty cool. But I mean, it's just full of different effects, and for $200, that's what it cost me where I got it. It is by far worth $200 because you can only get some kind of practice amp for $200 nowadays. Well, not really, but I mean, it's just a fantastic amp for $200. The only problem is if you want to get an awesome pedal for it, you're going to be paying about the same price as the amp, and I figured that out after I bought it, but I'm still going to buy the pedal because, like, for about $400, you can have a really nice setup. And even if it's only 30 watts, you can run that line right out of it, and it'll still be a pretty amazing type corner deal you got going. Oh, another thing, I thought this was kind of confusing at first. You see the pre-gain and the low and mid and high and post-gain and stuff that you adjust up here, and you're like, well, how do I get down to these bottom effects, parameter 1, 2, feedback, level reverb, and stuff like that, the delay? You can't figure out how to get rid of it. You just got to press this button right here, and that switches it up, and you'll see this light come on that says edit mode, and then you can switch to that. And another cool thing is you can run headphones out of it with the regular headphones. You don't have to use the jack, so that's kind of cool if you like to listen to yourself play with regular headphones, but I really don't. I like to use a big studio kind. But like I said, your master volume. One thing I did notice about this, I'll be honest with you, I know I'm saying all good about it, but 4 or 5, like I said, I have it at about here for practice. Shows, I might crank it here. I try to leave it about here for shows too, but I might crank it to here for a solo or something. But I mean, anything from here up, you're really like gonna notice you're gonna start losing clarity, and it's just not gonna sound as good loud. It might be louder, but I mean, you gotta think, you only have this speaker here, and no matter how much you pump out of this one speaker, it's not like it's gonna start covering all kinds of different other areas, you know. It's just, you got one speaker here, so your best way to use the speaker is gonna be right in this 3 to 7 range, and once you're in that 3 to 7 range, you're gonna pretty much be getting everything out of it that you want to. And if you're not, you're gonna want to go bigger. But I think they make the same exact amp in a bigger watt model, a 60 watt model, I think. But I think that's everything I wanted to brush up on. If you're thinking about buying this amp, I definitely recommend it. It's a great amp to buy.